session. If there's no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. is calling ourselves back to order after the executive session at 6 o'clock. Are there any changes, additions to the agenda?
I don't believe so. I think we've got everything in there, and the board does need a second executive session later.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we got it all.
Cool. All right.
Oh, we are doing that now, or is that,
Well, the agenda,
we got community engagement topics and public engagement before we. We can do it now, I don't mind doing it out of order.
no, well, we had changes, call to order, changes, additions, and approval of the agenda.
Oh, move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Somebody else could have done that. I thought you were talking about something.
No, we're just moving along.
No, or not.
Hey, this is the last in a very long series of meetings. I'm just a little punch drunk.
Yeah, right.
And it's the last meeting for somebody here. No
Yeah.
names named.
And so that brings us to our community engagement.
Wait a minute, shouldn't we
meetings.
vote on the change?
Yeah, right. Oh, man, we're.
Could be one of those nights.
We have this. Oh, geez. I'm glad the public is watching to see the other side of this.
Just really.
We have a motion. We have a motion on the floor to accept the agenda as submitted.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. So now we can move into our community engagement. And Russ, would you like to do the honors?
Okay, I wasn't prepared since I didn't plan this.
Well, it was kind of that formality.
Okay, so yes, we have a couple of representatives here to discuss some of the coordination and summer programs
Our
that
community,
happen here in Hartford. And they're
engagement.
both very good and
And
beneficial
Russ,
programs
would you
for
like to
the
do
youth
the
of our
honors?
community. I don't know if you have a specific.
Okay, I
order.
wasn't
prepared since I didn't plan this.
Well, it was kind of.
Chivalry's
that
not
formality.
dead.
Right. Okay.
If you could introduce yourself.
You betcha.
Wow.
The actor in me. Okay. Hi, I'm Emily Zanleone. I'm a resident in Wilder. I also hold the position of the Executive Director of the Hartford Community Coalition. If you don't know, the Community Coalition was originally founded after the summer of 2013, when we had 3 youth suicide deaths that summer alone here in Hartford. Since then, we've become a nonprofit, starting in 2018. And in 2019, we received a Drug-Free Communities grant. And so we do a lot of work around prevention, mainly substance prevention, use, substance use prevention with youth. And we also work, of course, in the mental health realm, because you can't not talk about substance use without talking about mental health. And we also, for the last 8 years, have run a summer meals program here in Hartford. So that was one of those things. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure. Okay, all right, good. So HCC has organized and administered a summer meals program in Hartford since the summer of 2015. There are a few data posters sitting in front of you, so you can see what we've been able to do over the last years. We've partnered with Alice Peck Day, the Public Health Council of the Upper Valley, and the Lebanon Lunch Friends to also provide lunches to children in Lebanon, New Hampshire, because Lebanon has never been eligible enough for USDA reimbursement. We call our summer meals program Take a Bite Out of Hunger, or our careful acronym, TABOO. As some of you might be aware, not being able to provide basic needs to our children is a pretty shameful place for most parents or caregivers. So we aim to feed kids in the summer who would normally be fed by school breakfast and lunch during the school year. So we do this financially through something called the Summer Food Service Program. It's a federally funded program by the United States Department of Agriculture, so the USDA, and the state and state administered by the Vermont Agency of Education Child Nutrition Programs. So HCC acts as a summer food service program sponsor, and we are administratively and fiscally responsible for the program and the sites where meals are served and consumed. Reimbursement is based on the number of eligible meals served multiplied by a specific rate established by the USDA. So I invite you to look at some of the posters in front of you. I'll just go over a few numbers. If you note there, in 2021, we distributed almost 18,000 meals here in Hartford, over 2,100 pounds of produce from willing hands, almost 800 volunteer hours, and 470 weekend snack packs were distributed over the 9-week program. In 2022, we ran our program for only 8 weeks, but increased our total meal distribution by almost 30%. So just over 26,000 meals, and almost 20,000 of those meals were to Vermont children, where the 6,000, just over 6,000, were to Lebanon, New Hampshire children. And we roughly served about 1,011 children last summer. So again, for purposes of this conversation, I'm gonna not talk too much about Lebanon because we are here in Hartford. But just so you know, HCC has always written and administered grants to help feed our neighbors across the river, as they are not, those meals are not reimbursable by the USDA. So already this year, we are going to continue to serve 7 housing locations in Lebanon and 2 summer schools. Over here in Hartford, we have 6 housing locations, to include the Vermont Housing Authority locations, and 5 other Twin Pines. So actually it's 7, pardon me, 7 housing locations in Hartford. We have 5 summer camps and school programs, and we manage 2 open sites. So our program coordinator, who is hired seasonally for the summer, staffs those open sites with volunteers. And so this year we have 2 open sites, one at White River School on Mondays from 11:30 to 12:30, and at the high school on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And open sites are just that, open to anyone, technically no sign up, just show up. And we still would appreciate it if people would go to our website, hccvt.org, and register so that we are prepared with enough food for your needs on the given day. So a couple of things, our summer meals program, we provide daily meals to camps and summer schools, and then we provide weekly meal bags to housing locations and our 2 open sites. So that has cut down considerably on the amount of travel, amount of waste over the last, so we did that, the meal bags last year and this year. Though we do a lot of advertising ahead of time, we do anticipate the following numbers will go up once word continues to spread. So we anticipate during our biggest week in mid-July to be almost 300 meal bags. That's 5 days worth of a meal. So 300 of those, just under 200 of them being distributed just here in Hartford, and almost 300 daily meals, slightly less than half of those being distributed here in Hartford. I'm almost done. As a sponsor, we contract with a food service company. So the Abbey Group, currently also the food service provider in Hartford during the school year. They do all the meal planning and the meal ordering food ordering, while our 2 seasonally staffed people, program coordinator and driver, work with about 3 to 6 volunteers each day to pack the daily meals and then pack the 5-day meal bags for housing delivery. And the program driver then delivers all those coolers of food to the various camps, and then meets up with a case manager from housing locations to distribute those meals alongside somebody that they already know, which is pretty great. This is a true team effort. From everyone I've named already, I want to make sure that I mention our partners, the United Methodist Church downtown, who we donate much of our leftover, not picked up, still food safe food down to the sharing and caring food pantry. The White River Rotary Club, the Hartford Chamber of Commerce, Riverbank Church, St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Hanover, and the Greater United Church of Christ here in Hartford Village. And of course, our sponsors and grantors, Dartmouth Health, APD, Mascoma Bank, Hope Hypertherm Foundation, Novo Nordisk Couch Family Foundation, Norwich Women's Club, and the town of Hartford through some of our town appropriated funds. I have to express enormous gratitude to the school district. You allow us and have allowed us since the beginning to use one of your kitchens for the entire summer. This year and last year, we were in Hartford High School. We take over the cafeteria and the kitchen, and nobody gives us any grief for that. It's pretty amazing to just show up and set up, and everybody's like, yep, that's what they're doing. Thank you also for allowing us to use, for a very small rental fee, very small, use the district's food service minivan at our disposal all summer so that we can do what we need to do when we need to do it. So really, really appreciate that. I wonder if I could make an ask. So HCC is growing, but we're not going to grow much larger without some additional partnership. And the idea is not to get so big that we have multiple staff and people wonder what the heck we're actually doing. Regardless of the decision about meals for all through the state of Vermont next school year, would you please work with me to encourage our district to move forward with an electronic application process for applying for free and reduced meals? I know that that's something that you're working on. I'd really like to help you make that happen. HCC is also, okay, and why? Because when meals are free for all, not everybody is signing up for them, and our eligibility numbers have gone down. And if they drop below 50, we will then join Lebanon not being able to get reimbursed. And there's most of our funding. So that reimbursement from the USDA is really important. So the second thing is that HCC is wrapping up our strategic planning process this year, where our board and some of our partners are suggesting that this food program is not something totally sustainable for us to continue to do on our own. We need an administrative partner. So we're writing a manual about how to put this program together with all the different systems, the AOE and the USDA, all the systems that we engage with in order to get this program accomplished. We have a robust and energetic volunteer group, and we would even continue seeking funding for the seasonal employees and the distribution engagement and management. But we're hoping to have a bit more administrative support. And I wonder if that's something that the board may think about asking the district to do, or that the district might consider moving forward into the summer of 2024. Are there any questions? Is this time? Or do I just leave? I should sit.
Question. My immediate question.
Yeah.
Is you must have an idea of what the cost would be, for that administrative support.
Mhm.
So that we could at least discuss it, without just saying, well, we need to know.
Sure. And you would like better than a ballpark, but I can give you a ballpark now.
No, we wouldn't take it up now.
Okay,
So my suggestion would be if you could get that information to Tom.
Okay.
We'll make sure to review it, as we move forward.
lovely. I can tell you that all I would need is a little bit of time and access to your database. Instead of having to ask for things, multiple pieces of information. That's really challenging sometimes to get all the things that we need for the application. When we don't have access to the information, we have to interrupt the school district during their day.
And sometimes that can be, sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong with this, but sometimes that can be a real hassle of getting our paperwork, Hartford Community Coalition's paperwork in on time, because we're still waiting for the information that we as Hartford Community Coalition has to turn in to be able to get reimbursement and all the other stuff.
No, that part, we understand, I guess. We need to further discuss it. I don't think we need to actually take it up during the, the meeting, but I would propose an ad hoc group to sit down and discuss it. We do have a finance committee, and that is our data, group usually. So that we can adjust as needed, because the superintendent will participate, our chief financial officer, and we could add others as needed, so that we can talk about, like what works and what's allowable,
Mhm.
because of federal requirements and FERPA,
You got it.
so we have to look at all of that, as well, legally, because technically you're not employees of the district. So that, we have
Got
to
it.
talk about.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
detailed pieces.
All that's correct. Yep,
But,
you got it. I'm on the same page.
And then the other thing is, we could talk to USDA as well. And that's another thing that you have capability of.
Lovely.
And I'll leave it at that.
But we do need to warn, so the public members who are interested in either supporting or arguing against this have a chance to weigh in and all of that. But we will definitely make sure that you get a spot on the schedule to talk to us.
Thank you. Anything else?
Because I think where the board's heart is. It's taking care of that.
Absolutely. And I know that the school districts is as well. Just a little bit more information flow even would be helpful. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I had a question, just if you have an idea of what programs you actually deliver meals to, because I'm not
Sure.
familiar with that. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's the rec department programs, and what else? Just,
Sure, absolutely. So yes, the Ventures Town summer camp. 8 weeks, 8.5 weeks. We actually started a little early because you did. Yep. And we are doing the Creative Kids Camp out of the Dothenbrook School. We will serve both the Regional Resource Center and the Wilder School for the month of July when they're open. And then VINS is the other.
so you don't do like a HCRS runs a summer program out of Quechee, but they don't access.
They didn't show interest, but It's definitely something
Yeah.
that we could do. The issue is that OQS is not an eligible site.
Right,
And
right.
so at least 50%
Right.
of their enrolled population
I
has to
see.
be eligible for free or reduced meals.
That's interesting. So the school year, the
DBS,
school
we got
year
that.
population has to be 50% or higher.
you
It
got
has
it.
nothing to do with who's there for the summer camp.
So both things can be true.
Okay.
So if Ottaquechee becomes a place where 50% or more of children are enrolled in free or reduced meals, eligible for free or reduced meals, that could qualify us. Or looking at their roster, 50% of those enrolled kids on the roster have to be eligible for free and
Okay.
reduced meals.
Which makes
Yep.
sense.
And therefore, my first ask, right, is how do we encourage people
Mm.
to just make sure, right? Even if you don't take advantage of it,
Yeah.
it actually would help us if we
Mm.
could have more people who are at least eligible, even if they don't take advantage.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's
that
a
eligible.
much bigger issue on the school side. That's a perennial issue we have
Okay.
around Title I eligibility.
Right.
Which is a big pot of money for the school district. I've been dealing with that for 20-something years. Yeah, maybe more. So if a school falls below that, we don't get Title I funding, which is, really helpful for teaching kids reading and math. And like Emily said, Ottaquechee School was eligible, it's not eligible, it is eligible, then it's not eligible, it's good, back and forth all the time. Dothanbrook hasn't always been eligible either over the years I've been here. But a lot of it is parents not filling out the forms and, determining whether they're eligible. And so, it is a lot of sensitive financial information that they have to give the school district. And either they don't have the time and energy to do that, or they don't have the wherewithal to do that, or they don't want to divulge that personal information. So it's a little complicated, but we try really hard. I mean, we actually have someone dedicated to this in our office. But it's a
Oh, I would
It's
love
been
to
an-
talk
it's
to
been-
them.
yeah,
Well,
it's a
see, it's been
complicated
ongoing.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay,
hear that now. I
and-
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a
And-
much bigger than the summer program, but
bigger, yes.
it's one of
Got it.
those things that we
Yeah.
use to qualify
Yeah.
for the summer food program, but it's the federal grants program that, that's the primary piece of data is
Well, Tom,
what is the school poverty rate and who hits it and who doesn't.
right. But at a different meeting, you invited those of us who work
Yeah, that was
closely with kids to all of the open houses again. Yay.
Yeah,
Haven't done that in like 3 years, so super excited that we can get in front of people again. And maybe that's a place that we could even partner with the person in your office to really kind of explain this to people. That even if you're not sure, if you think you're on the line, like apply. It helps our town.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem, since the onset.
Sure.
Because we've been dealing with this longer than, the existence of this.
Thank you. I appreciate knowing that. I'm sure other people do as well. Thank you.
And the thing is, it affects so many things, and not just, every time that we look at a grant application,
Yeah, they want to.
Mhm.
That's right.
that's one of the questions.
Mhm.
And so here you are, saying, okay, you're doing the best you can to keep our tax rates down, to help, our residents, with the issues. And information is the driver in getting the support we need in order to do some of this work. And it's like Tom was saying, it is very challenging. And at the state level, we're going through the same thing, and I sat on that committee of jurisdiction for 6 years, and the stories that we would hear from individual districts around the state parallel exactly what Tom just said. And so it's not just a Hartford issue, you know, it's kind of a community ethos.
Got it.
Yeah, we could have an engagement topic just on that.
Yeah.
And what I
That's
didn't mean to
huge
step in front of you, is then in that engagement meeting, if you ran some financial impact numbers, saying if we weren't getting this grant, what it would do to your tax rate. And let's face it, people listen
Yeah.
when it hurts their pocket.
I think a major driver in what you're reporting is that there is an awful lot of stigma still attached to being in a program that demonstrates that either you or your family has somehow failed financially. And we need to think about the way in which we make it clear that this isn't about that. This is about the fact that these are Hartford's kids. Hartford takes care of its kids, no matter what their circumstance is. And there was a story on National Public Radio recently about the way in which the federal government has run the welfare program, in which they were both attempting to provide welfare in some cases, i.e., frankly, to populations of deserving people. You can think on your own exactly who's deserving, and at the same time, politicians were running on programs which were spreading the myth, and it is a myth, that there was these welfare queens out there who were driving around in Cadillacs based on the fact that they had enough kids to really soak it to the public purse. And we need to be truthful about this. We live in a country in which the economic system results in both winners and losers. And the value of human beings doesn't depend on whether or not they've been able to figure out how to get a paycheck that's big enough. They need to be helped. And we need to figure it out.
Thank you, Peter.
And if any of you out there in Homeland would love to come and volunteer, we can always use more volunteers. Right?
Again, go to hccvt.org. Sorry.
You know, I love the commercial.
Yes.
It's a great program, and it truly, it's lots of fun to do the volunteering.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
You know,
you.
we're proud of the work, you know, that
Yes,
HCC's been doing since its inception. And that's why it's been easy for us to partner, you know, every time that we can with the district, because, you know, we share that vision mission, you know, so it's easy.
Thank you so much for being able to come.
Thank you, lady.
Too. Appreciate it.
So Scott, you set yourself up. Now you have to-
Had you known.
Yeah, well, he's starting off strong with the handout.
I have handouts. You had pictures. Well, first and foremost, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. I am Scott Hausler. I'm representing the Hartford Parks and Recreation Department here in town. We are one of 193 nationally accredited park and recreation agencies in the United States. And we are the only park and recreation agency in the state of Vermont that has national accreditation. It's a tool that is used. Every 5 years, we go through a reaccreditation process. Every year, we have to do an annual report, which is quite tedious, but it's a process that we belong to and that we believe in. And it's a lot of hard work, but it measures an organization's overall quality of operation, quality of its management, quality of its staff within the community, and achieving CAPRA accreditation, which is the acronym for the National Recreation Park Association. It's the best way for a community to demonstrate that our organization and our staff provide the community with the highest level of park and recreation services. So we're pretty proud of it. It was started, I guess we've been through 4 reaccreditation process, reevaluations. I've been through 2. And I actually am serving on a committee to actually review right now Golden, Colorado, which has been really interesting to see how other agencies manage the process. But anyhow, that's just a little bit about who we are in the town. And we take pride in it. And we might not be the best, but we feel like we manage and we operate and we provide, some of the best recreational opportunities as well as facilities for our community. So what do we have going on this summer? We got quite a bit. And thanks to you folks in the school district, thanks to individuals like the HCC organization and what they do and how we collaborate together, we're able to do quite a bit of stuff. Our Camp Ventures is held on 2 sites. Both sites are on the campus of the school. And we thank you very much for that. It's 8 weeks. We serve 80 kids total. We have 13 staff members at Camp Ventures. 2 are district educators, 3 are college students, and the remaining staff are students in the school district. So during the summer months, we have an opportunity to help folks make some extra money, in particular kids, planning for school, going to school, have other expenses that they like to spend money on. So all that money goes right back into the local economy. So we feel like it's well money served for our camps and for those that work for us. Teen Adventure Getaways we've got this summer. I've got a flyer there for you to kind of look at. You should take a peek at that. Those are just events that we plan to go to this summer. We take our van. Kids get to sign up for it. There is a cost associated to it, but we do have a scholarship program, the Brian Hansen Scholarship Program, and maybe we can talk a little about that a little bit too, because I think that has a lot of connection even with the free and reduced school lunch. We have an application process for students and residents in the community to apply for. We raise on average during the Balloon Festival close to $7,000 to $10,000 annually for scholarships. So we get a nice pot of funding for families and children to apply to, but we utilize the school district in that application process. They're kind of the clearinghouse. People will fill out the application through us, and we're thankful for the collaboration with the school district to help us determine, eligibility. We're not interested in identifying eligibility. And it's helpful to have the school district do that. However, we're not getting a lot of applications, I guess, similar to you folks not getting a lot of free and reduced lunch, applications or people to fill it out. So the more people that might be willing to do that, hopefully will give them more of an opportunity and thought process of, hey, there's other programs out there to help me get my child involved in sports or camps, pool passes, arena ice skating passes, things of that nature. We've lowered our criteria now, and we're going to try to implement just the application process, just to try to utilize it, because people are fair. They understand if they're coming in and filling out an application, there's a need. So we generally say no to nobody if you fill the application out, even if it's gone through the school process or not. We have been allowing those applications to go through because the funding is there. We have golf clinics this summer at 4U, archery programs, youth and adult. Not only are we doing stuff for youth, we're doing it for adults. We've got 2 staff members that took the USA archery training, and that's really kicked off really well for us. A lot of interest in that particular program, and looking forward to develop it more at the youth level. Kayak trips and for teens, and also our camp. We invested quite a bit of money last year. We've got kayaks and a kayak trailer. We've got it all housed right now in Kilowatt North. So we're utilizing that access for a lot of kayak trips, teen kayak trips in our camp as well. And we expect that program to be enhanced over the season and into the fall. Our pool facility, I did give you another printout of that. It's open 7 days a week, open public swimming. One of our big activities are Thursday night team parties with the collaboration of HCC. And the last one that we had, I think we're close to 100, maybe 80 or so teens that were at the pool. So I think it's our goal to get that number up into 3 figures. So we're working hard. It's a lot of fun. I know they have a great time. We have a DJ. And admission is minimal. And again, if there's kids out there that want to go swimming and don't have the capacity to get a pass, it's relatively inexpensive to get one, but the scholarship program that we do have is willing to do that. So we want that message to get out there. Pool weather hasn't been too kind to us so far, but we're hopeful the rest of the summer, helps us out a little bit. We have family swims on Friday nights from 6 to 8, so the whole family can come out and swim. The pool itself, like the camp, hires a lot of locals. We do have one retired educator working for us this summer that we're really excited about. She's been fantastic. We have a college student, and we have one that's out of college, not sure what they're going to do, and we have 12 high schoolers. So we employ quite a few in the community. Movies in the park is some other information. Maybe I didn't give that to you. I think we got the concerts, but that starts this Friday night. Lyle the Crocodile is going to be playing. That's another collaborative event with HCC. It'll be right here at Lyman Point Park. We have an outdoor screen. If you haven't been to one of our movies in the park, you should come check it out. It's a lot of fun. The movie will probably start really late because the sun doesn't go down quite as early as we'd like it to for movies, but it's a good outing for families, and hopefully spread the word and get folks out. Family entertainment series is also something that's free and open to the public. And there's several of them. Little Red Wagon, Jason Tardy's coming, and then we have Modern Time Theaters will be forming this summer. Our Wednesday night concert series. This particular series started tonight, not because of the rain, unfortunately, and the storm. But in July is Parks and Recreation Month. So there are 3 concerts in July that will be celebrating a little with a few more activities with family activities and games. before the concert actually starts. So that's a new addition to just the normal Wednesday night concerts. Let's see, on top of that, this summer, we've got Broadway Ventures, the Hartford Performing Arts Camp. We've got Chess Wizards Summer Camp this summer, several sessions. We get a variety of sports camps that take place, track and field, karate, solid speed and agility conditioning program, tennis, intro to fly fishing, youth cheerleading, and the big event that we've got is the upcoming 4th of July celebration. So quite a bit going on. Can't go without recognizing volunteers. On top of recognizing the school district's support, we have a tremendous amount of volunteers, tremendous amount of folks involved in teaching courses and programs that I mentioned. A lot of those programs, like the sports camps and all our collaborations with coaches, at the school district level, helping run those programs, and they've been very successful and very helpful to have so many people engaged in the community. On top of all that, we've got a great staff in our recreation division, and of course all the parks staff and personnel that help us take care of multiple park facilities and all, and of course the staff at the school district, the folks that we deal with at each school, the secretaries, the principals, Jeff Marino, athletic department. We can't do it with everybody else, and we certainly appreciate that collaboration and look forward to continue that on forward. So that's about it, which is quite a bit, I think. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you all. I know Jeff and I at a collaborative school and town meeting a few years ago talked about our collaboration and how we work together and how we do projects together, and certainly encourage you to maybe engage that again at some point in time, where maybe both of us can come in and talk about future plans, facilities, programs, that sort of thing. I think that'd be really beneficial to both of the boards. So, but thank you so much for.
It's on the calendar.
Excellent. Good. Okay. And happy to answer any questions, but if you don't have any questions, that's okay too.
I don't have a question, but I think I do have a comment. I think, one, I have a conflict of interest with both organizations, so anything positive I say needs to be taken with a grain of salt. But I mean, they're all wonderful programs. I do think all three entities are not doing enough to amplify and communicate that within the community. The fact that some of the school expenditures helps the Parks and Rec, helps HCCT. So and let's face it, it would be nice if we could work out a system, because we, as the school district, have the potential to reach the greatest number of participants in your programs. And maybe as part of our going forward increased communication effort, we could wrap that in as well, because again, it's all to our mutual benefit, along with the education of the importance of that application process and the fact that we're working to make it more private. I guess if it went electronic, I think there's a perception it's more private, that somebody isn't necessarily going to be looking at your specific information. Let's face it, here in Hartford, we know everybody. And we're not always comfortable sharing financial information regardless of the benefit. So if we can make that more private, that would only work for everyone's benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good. Well, thank you.
Well, Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
As always.
All right. Appreciate all that you
I'm
do.
so appreciative you mentioned, two programs that I wanted to highlight you took care of, but taught by teachers at our schools, and that's Broadway Ventures and the Performing Arts Camp. So those are both sort of closely aligned with our music and arts programs in the school, so.
Yeah, awesome program.
Yeah,
It's
Scott's
gone out
been
really quick.
great at collaborating with me. I don't know if the school board knows this, but from time to time, things will come up from our staff that they want to offer to kids and students in the summer. And rather than us get into the business of running our own summer camps, I've reached out and collaborated with Scott in the rec department to offer them through the rec program. It's just a much cleaner, kind of easier way to do it. Because they do rec, we do school. And it's worked out really well. It's nice to see they're still going,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
years ago, the music and, band teacher came to me and we want to do this program.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah, it works out great.
It works out great for both of us.
Yeah.
The benefits are more than just housing your kid during the summer.
Yes.
My daughter went from being shy and communicative and not wanting to raise her voice at all to what you guys got to see. Confident young woman who expressed herself and had opinions and was able to bring them forward. So that was due to the performing arts camp. So
That's great.
And Russ is right. I think doing some sort of publication or some sort of announcements together about all the things that you mentioned, as well as the HCRS camp, the camp that's at DBS, some of the athletic camps that we run. I mean, it'd be nice to put it all together and do a couple, media blasts, whether that's
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as, the push out through our messaging.
Yeah,
So-
people get bombarded with stuff, right?
I know.
And we send stuff, to the schools throughout the year, and we understand that, parents are looking in their backpack if they're pulling out, that might not be the first thing that they want to pull out and look at as a flyer, because it's school season. So we recognize that. We just started trying to push on Instagram a little bit. We've got a new employee that's, a lot younger than me and has all that at their fingertips and, understands it all. So that's been beneficial. But yeah, getting the message out is, we get it out there, but
Yeah.
there's got to be a better tool that, engages, a little, allows, different organizations to, tap into all those contacts that they have. So,
Yeah, it's an awful lot of information in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to maybe try to consolidate that and have a repository for it all.
And along those lines, thinking a little old school, one place where that information could be disseminated is at plays, basketball games, that kind of, because there you're dealing with possibly a demographic who would be very interested, and it would also get away from the overwhelming amount of media blasts we all get. So that might be something to consider.
But overall, the message in Hartford is there's a tremendous amount of activities available for the youth. I can't believe what this town does. I mean, I live in a different town, as you know, and they don't offer a quarter of what's offered here.
And the thing is, it's part of our ethos, and traditions. I remember, that's the crazy part. I remember too much of that. But anyways, back when the Hartford Village School was for sale, and we were trying to find things for the kids to do. So we started a community center. And a bunch of parents got together, pulled it together, and this is a while ago, before HCRS bought the building. And the kids came to the school board, and they had this big sheet, and they had all their names on it, and they signed it and everything. And their ask was to use the space at the building. And what the school board did was offered the Hartford Teen Center at that point $1. For $1, we were able to use that until which time they sold the building. So that's an indication of Hartford. That's how Hartford rolls, so to speak. We take care of our kids, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And as far as like back into the 70s, like I'm thinking, like those opportunities were always presented in some way, and they've just become so much more robust. So kudos to you guys to keeping the torch rolling.
Thank you. And I, one more pitch, since you did bring up community center, I have to say it now. So our Park and Recreation Commission is actually one of their goals that they're working on. And soon there will be a survey that will probably go out related to a community space. So we're kind of excited about that. Not only do we get to use the school district buildings, we appreciate all that, but there's a lot of times during very key periods of the daytime that we could use indoor space when school's in session. Or if there's after school things going on in the district, it's tough for us to do a community program, right? So we're actively pursuing a project. It'll be down the road, I'm sure, but you never know. But I figured I'd let you know now.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. I appreciate
yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. There's a couple more things that I just wanted to highlight that the schools are doing, in addition to working with REC and HCC and partnering. We do have the HCRS camp operates every summer at the Ottaquechee School. The elementary schools got together this summer and they really wanted to offer an academics program to the children, but one of the barriers is always transportation. Parents are working or don't have reliable transportation. So Doug Cussius, the principal at the White River School, had a creative idea that he's done in his former school district, which was to go on the road with some teachers. And I thought it was really interesting. So he basically works with a few teachers to put together some curriculum that can be enriching for the elementary school students. And they drive around in hopefully a leased van. We're working with one of our grants to lease a van, but if not, we're going to work with Emily to use the food service van when they're not using it. But it'll be 3 teachers a couple times a week throughout the summer that will drive through the different regions of town. And they'll announce it to the parents, but they'll be equipped to offer games, puzzles, reading activities, free books, all based on STEAM. So science, technology, engineering, arts and math. And they're going to do that all summer. Cool. The teacher coaches have planned all the curriculum. So they're sort of experts in their field at the elementary level, and they're going to be guiding the curriculum, if you will. But it's the first year doing this. It's pretty exciting. That flyer is in your board packet tonight if you want to look at that. I can't wait to see how it goes. Vermont Tech is also doing a summer program. It's up at the Randolph Tech Center, but that's for 12 to 16-year-olds, all around manufacturing and the tech center areas. And of course, we do have a lot of high school programs for athletes this summer: soccer, basketball, cross country running, lacrosse. Let me see what else I think I might have covered everything, but there are a lot of things going on. And a special ed department always runs a program for students who might regress over the summer. So if the special ed teams feel like a student might really slip backwards, so to speak, in their skills over the summer, they offer summer programming specific to those kids. So I think that's really the whole gamut of offerings. We do, in the last couple of years, we have paid our clinical staff to keep in contact with the kids that they see during the year. So that's sort of another thing the board should be aware of, just keeps a nice connection. So there's not 2.5 months of abyss. You know, it's a staying current with the kids and how they're doing over the summer. If they're having any trouble, they meet with them. That's a nice addition that the school started this year, and last year too.
And we need to publicize more.
Yeah,
That's
I'm working
the
on
key.
that. That's one of my goals.
I know, I said,
One of
it
my
sound like a
goals.
broken record.
You'll
but-
see it in my improvement plan later on tonight, but that's one of my goals, is to do a lot more with communication. So people know what's going on. But like Scott said, it's overwhelming. There's so much stuff. It's like you really need someone just to coordinate it all and write it down and keep it in one spot so you can keep your head on straight. I'm so glad Kevin brought up the topic for tonight. I'm so glad you did, because I'm really proud of what Hartford offers the youth. It's amazing. Should be very proud, everyone, of what your town does for the kids.
It's a special place.
Yeah.
One more pitch real quickly. Because I'm just a little biased for HCC, but for when we make the request for volunteers, you'd be surprised, and I can say this because of my age, that a lot of the volunteers are people my age. And it's a great time for them to come out into the community, still feel useful, doing something, and they've got a time to stand there as you're sitting packing, never how many breakfasts and then never how many lunches we're doing that day, to have some conversation with other adults. So I'm putting another plea out there. If you want to volunteer, you know where to get us. So, and it's fun. It really is fun. Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. Really
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll be talking to you.
Yes, yes.
There's some extra here. I don't know. Thank you.
Starting to get a little worried now.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
See you later.
Okay. So Russ.
That's right. I guess,
No, I was just.
I mean, now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up, yeah, I was too much in thought. So now, public engagement. I think we've covered that. So now I guess we'll go to business meeting items. And for, I think, understandable reasons, I won't tackle the first one.
And just so the board knows, there is no one online that wants to.
I was gonna ask that question,
Yeah,
I'm doing
but that, we
double
also have
duty.
public comment where they could have.
yeah,
All right,
sure, yes.
so it is the tradition of this board, when somebody leaves, take note of that. This resolution is an attempt to adequately take note of the fact that Mr. North is leaving us, and the fact that we regret that. Thank you. The resolution. Whereas Russell North has served on the Hartford Board of School Directors, both as an appointed member from December 16th of 2015 through March 9th of 2016, and as an elected member from March 14th of 2018 through this day. And whereas his confidence, integrity, and passion has enabled him to fill the role of board clerk with vision and effectiveness. And whereas his work on behalf of the school district, having gone far beyond that which might be expected, has shown extraordinary insight, sensitivity, compassion, and a dedication to promoting equity and fairness. Now therefore be it resolved by his fellow board members that Russell North be given a vote of sincere appreciation for his many years of service in many different roles on the Hartford Board of School Directors, and furthermore, that this resolution be recorded in the town records dated this 28th day of June 2023.
Thank you for those very nice words. It's truly appreciated. And I won't comment on why I was only an appointed member for a short period on 2016. I'm not bitter.
Oh, I can tell. Well, on behalf of the board, we would like to present you a little
Oh, thank you.
gift there.
And I'll open
Okay,
it later.
sure.
Okay, so with all that big headedness to me, I guess now summer hiring permission is on the agenda.
Annually, I ask for the ability to hire professional staff over the summer while the board's not in session. There's usually very few, but rather than hold up their contracts till the first board meeting in August, where we might lose someone, the board's granted me permission to hire during the summer months. So nothing fancy, but some sort of motion if the board's willing to oblige me.
Pursuant to our past practice, I move that we allow the superintendent to hire such staff as are necessary during the board's being out.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right, I'll continue. Business operating policies. This is the first reading, as I recall. Okay. Does any, my fellow board members have any questions or comments regarding what's in their packet?
Just as these are basically required for us to have in place so that we can meet federal requirements for funding and so forth. They have been gone over by the policy committee. And not only are they a federal requirement, but they're actually a very good idea in terms of ensuring the good running of our schools and the financial integrity of what we do.
Any other? Okay, if nothing else, I get the chance to bring out my accounting geek questions. And regarding the capitalization of assets, point 3 in the interpretation, first bullet point, I question of whether it should read 5,000 individual component value and a useful life of more than 1 year. Because by definition, if it has a useful life of only a year, it's an expenditure, at least in the accounting world.
Noted.
And I guess the other thing for the board to consider is in its in Tom's monitoring reports, how we will ensure compliance with these procedures, because it will may be implemented, but it's equally as important on how we ensure compliance. And that's all I have to say.
That's good.
So I think it would be appropriate if we were to, on adoption of these at the next meeting in August, request that there be a reporting element in the reports that the superintendent makes to us over the course of the year, where appropriate, the fiscal responsibility, liability areas.
So that, just thinking of from a procedural perspective, being that this is the first reading, amendments to any documentation, at first reading is just considered an amendment.
Yeah.
So, and that's a very favorable amendment, for adoption.
Okay, we don't.
We don't do anything other than,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that we now have looked at them for one time. We've taken feedback from those people who wish to give feedback. We will incorporate the changes unless there's an objection and nobody's objected to the changes you have suggested. And then in August, we will read them one more time, and at that time, move that they become adopted.
Okay, so now is the consent agenda.
Yeah, we have a couple appointments. Sarah Hissman, who has been a English language arts teacher at the middle school, was selected by a committee as the interim assistant principal. So pretty excited about that. And then we also have hired or want to hire Andrew Riley for a science position at the middle school, and Chloe Balch as a 5th grade teacher at the White River School. And there's no other resignations or retirement.
And move that we accept the consent agenda, welcoming those who are joining us. And
Second.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We discussed this earlier, but since nobody's online and nobody's here, does any board member have any public comments that they would like to make?
just that I'm amazed that we're actually almost on time.
Well, we won't name any names, but we'll know who is running this meeting. Sorry. Okay.
You remember Telly Savalas?
Yeah.
Who loves you, baby?
Baby.
Yeah.
Who loves it? Now we're moving on to meeting evaluation.
There is a quick.
Okay, certainly.
This is a shout out to one of our students, graduates, who happened to be a student rep on our board. And I think you remember Dylan. I ran into him a few weeks ago. And, why should we be surprised? He had a security pass for state government. I said, so what you doing, Dylan? And he's working in the governor's office as an aide to the governor. And he's, as you recall, he's going to George Mason in public administration. So I guess we get it done, with our kids. And, they're doing some cool things. So I just wanted to do a shout out.
Yeah, that's very much appreciated because it is, again, I'm broken record. Self-promotion is important for the district.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments? Okay, this is a monumental moment as well. This will be the last time I am going to be reading this memo. Hallelujah. At the end of the board meeting, each board member and the superintendent or an appointed evaluator for the meeting completes this monitoring form. The responses are shared and a discussion is held on the areas that need improvement. The chair collects the completed forms to use in the board's monitoring reports. Board was prepared for the meeting. Satisfactory. Board's time was spent on ends, not means. Satisfactory. Each board member was given an opportunity to participate. Satisfactory. Board treated all persons with courtesy and fairness. Satisfactory. Board adhered to Robert's Rules of Order as appropriate. Satisfactory. Board adhered to its adopted governance style. It emphasized outward vision. It encouraged diversity in viewpoints. It exercised strategic leadership, not administrative detail. It maintained distinction between board and staff roles. It used collective decision-making. It looked to the future. All satisfactory. So, yay. And I didn't put in, you need a new evaluator.
He's really enjoying this, isn't he?
Yeah, really.
You notice I'm smiling.
Yeah.
I was looking at the summer conscious one, I'll be able to go. Yeah, right.
There you go.
So I can watch it, you guys. But you won't be in. All right. So now the last item on our agenda is the need for an executive session.
Pursuant to 1 VSA 313A3, I move that we find that there's need for an executive session to discuss the evaluations of a public employee and that we enter into said executive session.
I'll second.
No, I'll second.
You second. Yeah, that's more appropriate. No further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So let it be noted that we moved into executive session at 7:12. Great.